It's here! The 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. Yes, it is shiny. It's also the special edition one. There will be a regular edition one coming out, but it is so cool, and I've got one, and I'm going to go through it for you and see if it is cool. Like, you know, bow ties. Well, let's get into this without any further ado. David Tennant's second style of screwdriver as the 14th Doctor. All right, so I'm going to take it out of its packaging, which is a shame. It looks very good in its packaging, but it just looks beautiful overall. Ooh, there it is. Very shiny. And it makes a noise. It's a screwdriver and it makes a noise. Awesome. Now, I understand there's also possibly some instructions in here, so let me take a look for those. Now, you may say, it's a Sonic. Why do you need instructions? Because I'm not a Time Lord. Well, it has instructions. They're actually on the box, so I just had to move the box around. And it's interesting. It doesn't have instructions on some of the neat features of this thing. So let me explain about this 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, which is very shiny, very nice. And we're going to go through it bit by bit. So as you know by now, if you're a Doctor Who fan and your head has not been under a rock, Jodie Whittaker gave her final bow and regenerated into someone with very familiar teeth. Basically, the 10th Doctor revisited. Of course, we knew this was possible because apparently on some future regeneration, Tom Baker becomes the Doctor and then the caretaker. When he retires, I really think you might. So he did not keep the Jodie Whittaker Sonic, apparently. He's moving on to this one, which, just to go through it, it's very, very nice now. The general release one, this is a limited edition, special online edition, something or other, will not be as shiny. I've seen pictures of it. It's more of a gray plastic here and gray here instead of being shiny. So it's not going to look quite as nice, but it's still going to have the general shape. Now, obviously, you can press it and it makes a noise. You can also push the switch forward, and if you remove the tape, it extends further. Now, the tip doesn't seem to actually glow all that well. Just the body inside, which is interesting. But it does look like something you can open up a bottle of wine with, but it's also obviously a sonic screwdriver. Now, if you press it twice, slightly different tone. 3 times, it does this kind of malfunctioning thing. It makes weird tones. 4 times actually does this weird little, like, alarm. And kind of a different pattern with 5 times. Well, that was accidentally 7. But it looks like the same weird pattern. So looking at it, it is a beautiful looking Sonic, a bit thicker than what we're used to with matters. Very shiny bottom portion here with, this part is very reminiscent of another Sonic, as is this. In fact, before I go into the additional colors that this one has, which apparently I'm told are not going to be in the general release, you can change the colors on this, but I do want to compare it to some previous Sonic screwdrivers. So here is the 10th. Now, the 10th actually, this is gray. It actually had more of this color, as did the 9th Doctor's. So this is kind of 9th, 10th, kind of similar pattern a little bit. You know, this is smooth, but it's got the kind of cracked pattern. So it's a little bit reminiscent of that. The end, very similar in there. And the buttons, well, the button doesn't really come close, but it does borrow some elements from the 9th/10th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver. Then we have the 11th/12th. Oh yes, just in case you wanted to know. Oh, really? Amazing. So this portion actually is kind of reminiscent of the 11th/12th Doctor's Sonic, the 12th Doctor's first Sonic. He had another one. In fact, it has a very similar pattern there. If you press that pattern, it does nothing, unlike on this one, where if you press it, you get the actual Sonic. So, making all kinds of Sonic noises. So that is very similar. Plus, there is some reminiscent arts with the 4 claws compared to the 4 claws on the 11th/12th Sonic Screwdriver. So there are, again, some design elements that have carried over, which is very cool. A nice homage. But wait, there's more. Because we also have the second 12th Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver. And if you'll notice, this part here in the front is very reminiscent of the back part of the Sonic of the 12th. So it's great that they grab design elements. Now, I'm not really seeing, unfortunately, any design elements from Jody's or the 13th Dr. Sonic Screwdriver. But that Sonic Screwdriver, where I think it's a cool design, I think it was a bad choice to give it to the first female Doctor just because of all the jokes about its shape and how it looked more organic. And I mean, these certainly look like toys that you might use in a more private situation as well, just not as curvy. You know, might be more into this kind of stuff. But still, it is very cool that there are elements in this Sonic Screwdriver that encompass 3 prior screwdrivers. Now, I'm not really seeing anything here that is reminiscent of any of the classic Dr. Sonic Screwdrivers. If you see something and you're like, ooh, that's very like the classic, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I think it's more New Who. It's the New Who model, the next New Who model. So like I said, very cool. But as this is a special edition, and you know, you can like do weird things, you can open it, which I'm going to do carefully. I was looking at the instructions so I could do this and not break it, because if I break it, the rest of this video is going to be me fucking crying. But let's see. So we have this. It has a switch in here, a button, that when you hold it down, I think it's something like, it just made a beep. So now, it's red. And it makes a different sound. So it doesn't change when you do that. Now let's see if we can switch it again. Now it's back to normal. So I've gotten it to red, but it also has green. So the red is nice, obviously. It's a nice, almost dangerous sound. Okay, where's my green? Waiting. There we go. I had to press the button a number of times, but now we have green. Similar sound to that of the red, but very cool. So now it actually is a bit more like this Sonic. So very cool. So you can change the colors. I don't know if there are any other features, but if you know about them, I just know it changes colors, which is cool. That is not something that will be in the general release one, which again will not be as shiny and will not do that. Now, one thing I noticed, these things seem a little, you got to take care with the little claws. Just be careful because they seem a little wobbly, but of course Sonic screwdrivers have a tendency to break anyway. But interestingly enough, it is only when you are back to the blue that multiple presses do anything. Which I think, you know, they could have done a little bit more. I mean, how difficult can it be? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. Now, this again was the special online edition. I think they retailed, I heard they were 40 pounds, which is like 50 bucks US originally, and they sold out in a flash. So if you want to get this one, you're going to pretty much need to either find it at a convention or on eBay. Now, eBay prices, from what I understand and what I looked at, are anywhere from usually $200 to $300. So I got it a little bit cheaper than that, but not much. At the LI Doctor Who Con, I was debating whether or not I should spend that much on a single Sonic, even if it is a limited edition. And I was like, well, I'm sure the people on YouTube would love to see it. And it has been so long since I have actually been able to have a new Sonic screwdriver and do a review. The last one was Jody's. Now, when the general release model comes out, I will probably do a short video just comparing the two, comparing the sound, seeing what controls are the same and what are not, seeing if it even detaches. But it is very cool. I saw a few people at the con who had them. And yes, I will put links to eBay. Like I said, it is expensive, but if you're a very, very committed Whovian, you might want to get this. And if you have disposable income, which, you know, is always a good thing. But while you are debating over this particular Sonic screwdriver, which is so pretty. It is so, you're pretty. You're pretty. Okay, I'm talking to a Sonic screwdriver. I think I've gone mad. You can check out this video over here, where I go through pretty much all the Sonic screwdrivers up through 12. And from there, you can find the 13th. But that's a fun video. I hope you enjoyed this one. We will see you next time. And as always, have fun and follow your fandom.